Good day, family. I am so grateful to be back with you in this space, this moment, and this time right now. I am enjoying the present, the present moment that we are able to connect through this avenue and through this tool that we have to be able to share, for me to pour into you that which has been poured into me. I'm telling y'all, I have been so enlightened by the people that I've been able to engage with during this time. I have to start off this session, as I will with every other session, as much as I can and as much as I can remember, to give what I will call a royal roll call. And this is just a little shout out, if you will, to all the people who have been inspiring through the week, through my life. And nobody will be left out. If I don't get you in this one, I will definitely roll call you out in other videos to come. So that being said, let me first say to my family, to my husband, my king, I'm so grateful for his support and who he is. He is truly, truly a king in my life, the king of my life. And so I'm so grateful for him being husband and protector and provider in my life. And I ain't gonna say too much more because I might get extra emotional. So I'm also grateful for my sons, for my young kings. I'm grateful for who they are and what they are becoming. I'm grateful that I was chosen to be their mother in this moment, in this time. And I am grateful for their support, because y'all, to be quiet while I do these things is truly asking a lot. The last video you saw, what was up? So I'm grateful that they are actually complying and being so gracious to allow me to do this and sharing their mommy. So once again, though, just a pre-warning, if you hear any noise, it's life. I'm not in the studio, I am at home. So if you hear noise, cries, yells, whatever, that's what it is. Let me also give a shout out to the reason why I'm here, my being here, my mother, Gail. I am so grateful to be your child. To my siblings, growing up with you was a blast, and continuing to live and see who we grow up to be is wonderful. I will move on now to my social media family. These people I haven't even never laid eyes on physically, however the spiritual eye sees. And these people have been magnificent in enlightening me. And every time we interact, it's just been so wonderful. And some of these people I have known, but we haven't seen each other in years. And I'll start off by saying Cedric and Nikki Tillis, I love y'all. That's my big brother, my big sister. And Victor Ramos, hey brother, namaste to you. He has been wonderful. Another Facebook friend, this will be your last one for today before we jump into our session. LaBelle James. I'm not sure if that's how she pronounces it, but I say LaBelle because it means beauty. And she is absolutely awesome. Never laid eyes on her, never had a word shared with her other than through correspondence on Facebook. And I will say this woman is a gem, and I'm so grateful, honestly, to be able to be a part of that way of communicating with you. And all my other brother sons and sisters, I'm so grateful and so excited to continue to grow and to continue to share all these wonderful empowering things with you. That being said, let's jump right into our session. As with every other session, how have we been doing with our list that we made? How is our walk? How is our talk? How is our home environment changed? How are our words changing? Are we moving into the idea now that it doesn't we were not required to get closer to God. We are required to be in God and God in us. So Is that making sense? Is that connecting? That's the question. That's the mission. That's the purpose. Okay. So let's always keep that in mind, that list. If you need the list and what was on it, go back to the other videos and check in. And please remember to like, share, subscribe. If you can't comment on YouTube because you don't have a account, then definitely hit me up on Facebook and let me know any subjects that you would like to discuss. Let me know if I'm hitting it for you and really meeting you where you are, and any questions that you may want to ask, or any ideas or topics that you may want to discuss. I am open to it and for it. So y'all, I've been excited about this video in particular. We have crossed so many barriers when it comes to making this thing personal and making this thing real. So this session is going to be staying firm in our journey, understanding as above, so below, as within, so without. Once again, if you see me looking over to the side, I got my notes there, and I might have to use my trusty dusty glasses because so it won't be such a strain on my eyes. I hate the reflection though, but it is what it is. We will continue to move on. Our spiritual journey toward our new Nia can be an exciting one, full of great experiences, lessons, and emotions, filled with ups and downs as an amusement park roller coaster. Our spiritual journey, to say the least, is interesting. One of the accumulated skills we gather in our ride is the ability to fasten our security belts tight, for our well-being in life depends on it. Being careful not to lean away from anything that is keeping us safe, we find most of our joy and thrill in not falling out. Staying firm and secure inside the vessel that has been prepared for us, heeding to the instruction given, and with the full understanding of the risk, if any, involved, our decision to continue on the ride is made. We find the journey to be blissful, and that our stress levels stay at an optimal low as we throw our hands up and enjoy the ride. We marvel at the sights of the earth below and express thanks for being able to see things from the new perspectives. We make zealous sounds into the wind, and we're wowed by the way our voice carries as we laugh uncontrollably. Can you feel this with me? We're gleeful, and we invite others to join us, and we describe the ride as the best thing ever, and we offer to be their encouragement and offer them to ride along with us. We will love to stay on this ride and continue. Now, for some of us, this sounds about as accurate as a description of our personal spiritual journeys have been, and for some of us, not so much. Many of us say, wait, I didn't get any of that. I didn't get any instructions. I didn't get any warnings. I was just thrown in, and I've been suffering from the side effects ever since. Within this experience, we practice the skill of holding on. We're not having our hands up, we're holding on. We find there is no thrill to the ride. Within this experience, we practice the skill of becoming nauseated at the idea of throwing our hands up in surrender to the flow of the ride. We feel our stress levels rise, and we succumb to all kinds of disease as we hold on for dear life. We sob desperately and feel as if no one hears our cries. We plead for the ride to stop and call out for our mamas. Mama! Y'all remember those kind of times when you're on the roller coaster? I call my mama every single time, but I love it. We don't enjoy any parts of the process, and some of us vow never to ride again. We let everyone we come in contact with know how disappointing and fearful we felt, and advise them to never get on, for if they do, they will hate it. We will not be continuing on. Truly, we can identify with these statements. Most, if not all, aspects of our spiritual journeys have involved these feelings in one way or another. I know I can attest to them both. Through both experiences, we discover many things about ourselves and our abilities. We find out that it matters how we start, and the ideas, instructions, and warnings set before us are important. The most important lesson is we find that going on this spiritual journey takes our will. And we discovered that last session, that our will and our minds, that they are our essence, and that we have to take them up as our cross. So trying to tie all this in so we can have a true enlightenment and true understanding. We understand that will plays that great, big, important part, and we need to be careful, and the need to carefully identify if we are in our higher and lower self is very important. Are we producing higher fruit because we're in the higher mindset, or are we producing lower fruit from our lower selves because we're in a lower mindset? Where there is high mind, there is a high life. Remember that. We've now been introduced through Nunia education to an idea of wholeness, where we are saved and safe in our thoughts as Father, and are receiving our comforting nourishment and wisdom as spiritual mother. Through the Son of higher consciousness, our spiritual family dynamic is now a healthy, balanced one. Surely we can go on this ride and enjoy the experience to the fullest without falling off, right? Yes, we can. We must gain clarity and understanding on the aspects of our personal spiritual ascensions and how we can weather each season set before us through knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and action. To begin, let's set the scene. Get this, y'all. Let's get back into our groove of making this thing personal and really connecting the dots and letting go of any other things that may have held us back in the past. So imagine, if you will, ourselves not on a spiritual path per se, but now understand that we're on an upward cyclical spiral. So in other words, our journey will go as one like this. If you can follow my hand and see what it's doing. It's going upward, and it's forming a cycle and a spiral. Okay? And cyclical meanings there are cycles that revolve, and with each one we will gain more understanding. In our image, we see our higher selves ascending at every turn, each turn leading us into the next cycle of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and action. Each cycle presenting us as a present with wisdom from the past cycle. As Mother Spirit inhales and exhales us into the spiraling level of freshness of knowledge the new cycle has to offer. There will be a familiarity rather than fear, for we will have foretold wisdom and general expectancy for each cycle. Just as in our natural lives, as right now we are in spring, because we have been living, most of us, for a good period of time, we understand what to expect from spring. Now, whether what we see outside, I know for us where we live, we just got some snow. However, the basic idea of spring, we still understand, and we expect it, and we look for it, and when we don't get it, we feel like a little off balance, like there's something wrong. But we still know what to expect, and we still understand that, hey, with spring, it's coming right, for those of us who understand, it's coming right out of winter. So it's possible for us to get snow. It's very possible. And we're in the northern hemisphere, so we understand our position and where we are. And we understand that we have to be mindful of the weather and that we have to dress accordingly. So we're pretty much prepared for the things that come with it. We understand that there could be strong storms and so on and so forth. So we're not going at this blindly. We're not going in it as we have absolutely no idea what's going on and why is this happening. If for those of us who have this idea, well, we may not have the knowledge that we thought we had. Okay. And we understand that right after spring, there comes summer. There will be some heat if possible, that it gets hotter in summer, and we begin to rest in that the older we get, and we understand the cycle, and we understand how we should prepare ourselves for each cycle. And that being said, I want us to make a clear connection to most of our ancient religions and the religions that we've been given today. We have to understand they did not have the culture that we have now. So that being said, the things that they had to prepare for were truly based on the cycles of the seasons and having to be prepared for harvest and planting and all those things. So they truly lived off the seasons and the cycles. The more our power of oneness is revealed within, we begin to make the connections to those being without of us. As we make living higher our goal here in this earth, we begin to understand the connections of as above, so below. Remember in the Lord's Prayer, when it says, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Let's keep that in mind, because that is the basis for this whole lesson. Let's get this, y'all. We find that balance is duality, polar opposites, working together in a ring of harmony and unification. As the analogy drawn for us above, or I have this written down. So as the analogy drawn for us, both experiences have one common factor in their spiritual journey, and that was the roller coaster. The difference in experiences come in through prior knowledge, instruction, and perspective. Notice one was given instruction, was given warning, and all those things, and the other was just like, I didn't get any of that. And perspective, notice how one was able to look at the ground below and be so amazed and in awe and in wonder and just grateful for it, and was able to lift their hands up and enjoy that ride. And we see this naturally when we're on roller coasters, and then you have one that's just holding on, and so it's the exact same connection that we're making with most of us on our spiritual journeys, and we can see this every day. I know I see it so often. And we're here to bust some of those myths and make this really work for us. To gain knowledge of the journey, our spiritual body experiences within also requires the knowledge of the body without, the one we live in and on the earth. We were given this body of land, bodies of water, and bodies in the heavens, the sky, to use as instructions, signs, and the fullness thereof for sustenance. Genesis 1 through 19 speaks of all of this. We are going to get some good clarity on these things today, right now. Every element on the periodic table that has been discovered in the earth is found, produced in, or made from us, for us. We are meant to know. Science means to know. We're meant to know these external components of our universe and be versed in their movements, meanings, and makings. Why? Why? Because it is our home. Think about it. When you purchase a home and you're getting ready to live in that home, you do inspection. You if you're not doing it, you're having a professional come out and you're having them look and see if there's any leaks, if the roof needs to be fixed. You learn the ins and outs and the workings of it. You learn how to get in your crawl space and change out filters, and you're learning about your heating. So you learn everything within that home. The homeowner will learn, because they know that's where they inhabit and where they're going to live and raise their family. So it's essential that we look at this life and where we are as the same thing. It's our home. We are celestials experiencing a terrestrial life. Now, I know some of y'all be like, wait a minute, whoa, she tripping. Yes, it has been proven that the same particles that make up the stars, the asters, we are composed of. Look it up yourself. It'll be a whole nother video. I'll go into depth. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Which means it is literally a disaster when we don't study the fullness of our Creator's wonderful works. Let's ponder this for a moment. Let's think about this. Whether we as humans are father or mother, it is true that whatever offspring created are siblings from those creators and connected through DNA and genetics. Am I correct? If you don't understand what I just said, in other words, as a mother, when you have children from your womb, no matter if they continue to live with you, if you give them up for adoption, or if they're foster care, or whatever it may be, those siblings are connected through the fact that they came from your womb. Is that right? Yes, it is. Okay. As fathers, men, no matter how many different seeds you plant, at the end of the day, those seeds are connected through DNA, through genetics. Am I correct? Of course. As above, so below. If this is the fact, and we know this to be a fact, how are we to agree that the oneness creator, being father and mother of all things, would approve of us not knowing our family? Think about this for a moment. As above, so below, as within, so without. What goes on in our bodies can be directly related to our heavenly older siblings. Follow me. Follow me. We're going to make some connections today. What happens naturally? Think about it. What happens naturally to a human male when the sun rises? Now, for me, I had to learn this very, very early because I have all boys. Think about it. What happens naturally to them when the sun rises? Their manhood rises. Without fail, unless there is a dis-ease, a man is reminded that he is connected to the force of the creative oneness and possesses the ability to create life. At an early age, it's a reminder that they're connected. When the sun rises, so does their manhood rise. What happens naturally for a human female around the time of a full moon? At one time we were all in sync, but what happens? She is reminded of her ability to reproduce life through the flow of blood, through the river of the great menstruation. Hence where we get our word month. That came from a woman's menstruation cycle. With those same great properties existing within us as in our siblings' heavenly bodies, we have to, and we must, we are given a call to be in the know, in the now and in the know. We are made to be scientists. Science equals to know. Conscience is the ability to connect our knowing. Our higher conscious is demanding the connection of higher knowledge, whole knowledge, mental, physical, spiritual, and universal, the mind, nature, body, and spirit. What gives the mind the essence of the soul as it inhabits the body and nature on earth? What gives the mind the essence of the soul as it inhabits the body in nature on earth? Breath, spirit, oxygen. It all works together. We show love for our Creator, for the creative power of I Am, through attention, action, and appreciation. It all works together for the good of those who love the Lord. What does that mean, and how can we apply this and make this thing personal and real? Not just through word. It's not just enough to say, I am this, put a label on it. I am. it has to be through action. Why? Through action, word is carried out. Word and verb are the same thing. Now we're going to move into a little English, if y'all can remember how that was in school, what the verb was. In every sentence, the verb represents action. Word and verb are the same, have the same meaning. Look it up. Etymologically, they have the same meaning. That's why you say things like verbiage. Okay? Both describe action. Our ancient ancestors lived and learned concretely. Everything and everyone had a function. If you could not draw a function symbolically, it was not used as a written word. Remember this. The ancient Greek philosophies, they were more abstract, meaning they came up with more poetic ways of thinking, and it wasn't symbolic. It was more of, it could mean so many things, and it was more fluid, as with the ancient Hebrews, who are attested to writing what we know as the Old Testament and the Bible, and other ancient cultures. They used symbols, and they all made sure that everything had a function. So every word that was written had a function, and you can draw it out. And so for those people who were not able to understand the written word, they were able to see and make a connection, and that's what we're doing today. Educating and knowing the function or action of all we are and come in contact with in our world on this earth is purpose. If you're searching and trying to figure out what's my purpose, start with that. That's a part and an aspect of your purpose, to at least gain some knowledge, become a scientist of things that we don't understand, things that we thought we understood. Become a scientist and begin to figure that and get into the know. We are moving into that age, into the information and technology age. Let me say this for a moment. That is exactly why we're finding a lot of our young people, and we're saying that they are crazy. We're saying that they are losing their mind, or it's because in this information and technology age, you gotta be on it. You gotta give them some straight information. You can't keep giving them the same old stuff. It doesn't fit. As they had to pour out in the scriptures when they went to the wedding, and they had to they had to pour out the old wine. They couldn't pour the new wine in the old wine sacks. Some of you remember. I'll get that more clarity, but you know what I'm saying. We can't keep putting in them old stuff, because it's not going to work in the age they're moving into. It's not going to work. And we can see that it's not working. 2 Timothy 2nd chapter 15 verse says, to study and show thyself approved, a workman that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Let's find the function and action of truth. Truth can be described as a strong thing or thinking. Anyone can form relationships with each other, with each other through, or with. Let's say that again. A strong thing or thinking, idea. Anyone can form relationships with, either through or with. Okay? Truth then is called and used as love and emotions for our soul. It's made as agreements and covenants and symbols for the intellect, used as energy for the spirit body, and shown as teaching for the mind and the will. Let me say that again. Truth then is called and used as love and emotions for the soul. Remember, we're making a connection. Made as agreements, covenants, symbols for the intellect, used as energy for the spirit body, and shown as teaching for the mind and the will. Let's bring it home. When you say that you love someone or you show emotion, that is truth. Okay, that's the action of truth for the soul. It enlightens someone's soul when you show emotions. It enlightens someone's soul when you show them love. Agreements, covenants, and symbols Think about what this does. It connects us on a global level. It connects us as a culture. It connects us through our intellect. We're able to see things. So we may not have the same emotion we would have for someone living right in our neighborhood as we would for somebody living in a whole nother country. However, if we can we see this all the time with treaties, peace treaties, and all those things in higher governments. We make agreements and covenants and symbols to symbolize things so we can at least interact on an intellectual level. Uses energy for the spirit body and shown as teaching for the mind and will. Truth is teaching, and it's beneficial for all of our minds and our wills. The word hallelujah is said to mean highest praise to Yah. Well, that is very abstract in thinking. We can draw praise or the function of it. We cannot draw, praise or the function of it. A more concrete grounding image, and what we need to put in our spirits, would be to turn your head and lift your hands toward the highest authority and strength, truth in higher thought. Truth is not to be argued. It just is. It does not waver. After all reasoning, it is always revealed as oneness, wholeness, and balance. Truth is accepted without converting through punishment or fear. Truth is presented as a gift through education. Truth can be sweet and bitter to taste. Truth can be hidden and found. Truth can be through education and ignorance. Truth can be positive or negative. And still, when all is said and done, truth is I am and exists to exist. The action of truth is to exist, so that our existence can possess the will to do the same. When all is said and done, we still have the example of what truth is to be able to stand in who we are. When names are called or labels are placed on us, we still know that we have the ability to remain firm in our truth, which is who we truly are. The existence of our universe is the example of truth in action. We can see and feel the power it has maintained through the eons. Most of us stand in awe of the workings and vastness of it. Some of us would like to examine and figure out how much, if possible, we can find out. As a culture, we have come up with many explanations for truth and the universe. We have produced scholars and philosophers alike, all seeking and searching to prove the questions we have in this life on earth and in the earth. Those who choose to stand in awe have produced their own scholars and philosophers alike, seeking to disprove the provers. Both sets of seekers have produced a great divide. Like the house of David, which was the tribe of Judah, and the children of Israel split from the kingdom of Yahweh, or the old covenant and the new covenant. Throughout the ages, when organized religion came into play, there has been a disconnect of people fighting over, well, no, you trying to prove God. You can't prove God. And it's because of a lack of understanding. And then you have those who are trying to be the provers, who saying, well, I need to know. Well, I'm here to tell you, we have to make that connection with both sides. And that's where it becomes necessary for us to fill the gap with new revelation given to us through the awareness that we've been given through our Christhood. The guidance of Mother Spirit, who searches all things and knows all things. The creative thought of Father, who has laid the foundation and the inheritance. We will use the tools and the searches done before us all over the world by many seekers on both sides and connect the dots so that brings wholeness in our lives. We won't have to wander in the wilderness for 40 years and so on and so forth. waiting for the next cycle to be revealed to us, we will have a greater connection to our universal home. We will have a deeper understanding of those things that once plagued our minds. Just for a moment in our imagination, nation of imagine. Think about that. Our nation of imagine. The Magi, who were wise men. Allow for, if you will, the idea of what the voice of God, creative universe, would sound like as it created the galaxies, the planets, and other celestial bodies. What would the word sound be? There will be no need for language as we have come to know it. No need for English, French, Latin, Greek, Hebrew, Twa. None of the ancient tongues would be required. Let's think for a moment. The great universe, the one sound, would make words for the frequencies of those bodies being created in the celestial realm. It would more than likely be very loud. The noise will be deafening to the human ear. As the scientific theory presented to us through the formal educations, the world would be a big bang. Now, some of y'all, I might have lost you. I totally understand. However, I want you to reference the Galgut theory. Galgut. G period, A period, G period, U period, T period of Dr. Gabriel Oyibo. Oyibo. Okay, look him up. Look up his theory. Y'all, it's dynamic. But I'm introducing this. I want you to go and search it and research it yourself. It makes a connection that we never thought about. Everything that kept us divided from the scientific side and the religious side, it truly combines it and makes sense. What sort of being would be able to truly represent the great I am in the realm, in the realm of our earthly heaven and celestial beings? One that would truly be able to encompass and hold the capacity of energy and life-giving abilities that oneness holds for those creatures and inhabitants on earth. What kind of being would that be? We talked about the sound scientifically. They said it was the Big Bang. It makes sense. Why in the world would the Creator be speaking English? Why in the world would the Creator be speaking French? Why would the Creator be speaking Latin? Why would the Creator be speaking Hebrew when Hebrew wasn't even thought of? Why would that happen? No. It's a sound that we wouldn't even be used to and understand. So these things being created prior to us, what being would represent and be sent directly from the great Creator? If we look at Genesis 1, we find out what was created first: light. The great light and life sustainer, the bringing of order from the chaos of voidness, the great day, the way, the truth, and the light. No man cometh unto the Father except through me, as above, so below. To truly understand our human body, we have to understand the bodies created before us, for we are connected. We are in the world, in this world, but not of this world. Remember, we have the same makeup as stardust. Let's think about this for a moment. Gaining knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of our older siblings, which are those heavenly bodies, those planets, makes elevating here on earth obtainable. Our Father and Mother oneness set this up this way to ensure us that we are able to produce powerfully in our purpose within and without. We would finally be able to make these connections and see ourselves and our fellow human brothers and sisters in a better light. If this were not so, we would not live and work by the nature of our heavenly siblings all the time. We call their names all the time as gods in their own light. Hold on. If there is resistance to this truth that I am offering you, just say out loud the days of the week. Day, look it up yourself. Everything I give you, I want you to go research. The word day means deity. That's where the word day comes from, deity. Deity means what? Gods. When we say Sunday, moon day. Oh, you think I'm playing? Go look it up. The day of the moon. Saturn's day. And the rest are attributed to other ancient Greek and Roman deities. Every month is named after a Greek or Roman deity. Now listen, for those of you who were concerned about pagan this and pagan that, find another way to call the days of the week and the months. You're giving homage to them every time you say I'm born in the month of such and such, you're saying you're born in the month of this God. That is it. And if we never made that connection, we're making it today. Let's not be ignorant about this anymore. Let's not allow these things to continue to separate us from the greatness of who we are. This is a fact. And it's truth because it stands. It can't be argued. It's truth. So for those people who are stuck in, oh, that ain't God. How dare you say that understanding the stars and understanding these things that were created prior to us is not of God. What's not of God, or what's not of the Creator, is the idea of taking us away from that and then regurgitating to us a primitive mindset, a slave mindset of keeping us so separated. If it wasn't so important, why are we in public schools? Wouldn't it have made sense to keep these things in the synagogues, in the churches, in the temples? That's why they created universities. Think about it. Think about the word. Universities. All encompassing. You can get theology in most universities. All these things are encompassed, and they're supposed to be that way in every level of life. Nothing should be separated. You should be able to see a connection in everything you do. You should be able to see action in everything we say and do. Isn't it exciting? Within our homes, churches, schools, social societies, and all other denominations of teaching temples, our knowledge should be offered within such guidelines. Listen, we all could go and we can join certain sororities, fraternities, certain other social groups that have these names and these rituals and things, and we are comfortable with that. We're comfortable with throwing up certain signs and symbols, and hey, I'm not knocking it. What I am offering is that we understand that there needs to be a connect, that we can't discount these other great worlds of knowledge, and we're missing the point. We're missing living because we're still trying to find something outside of ourselves, find it, and we don't understand that we're connected totally to it. Y'all, I am so excited about this and to be able to share with you these things. For though I will challenge you, everybody we will pour some ice water on our heads for something that we have absolutely no understanding for. But just because somebody said, I challenge you, we will do that. That is amazing to me. So I will say, I challenge you after this video to go and search out things, something that you had no idea, and connect it. Make the connection. I challenge you to do that. I challenge you to find something that you use in your everyday life, or something that you learned in school through math and through science, because those are truly the universal teachings, math and science. Math meaning the goddess of Ma'at. She balanced things. That's where they got it from. The Kemetic goddess Ma'at. M-A, a little apostrophe, A-A-T. Look these things up. Make the connection. Become scientists, become conscientious, conscious, aware, conscientious. You're making the connection to know. Let's do this, y'all. Please, I'm so looking forward to hearing your comments. For those of you who are not afraid to step into yourself and then discover what is outside of you is also connected to you. This will help us so much in our daily dealings with each other. Like I said, once again, the problem comes in, and here's where people get afraid when they go and then they'll find a psychic, or they'll secretly say, oh, I'm a Gemini, oh, I'm a Capricorn, oh, I'm an Aries. Oh, they'll say those things, but you have no idea how to find them in the sky. Why can't you look at the stars for yourself and have this knowledge and wisdom? It's perfectly okay and legal for us to praise people when they get certain accolades and degrees and so on and so forth in the traditional learning systems that we have, that are really literally not giving us everything that we need, because we have the ability to get these things our own. We can praise those people for going and doing that, but we can't do for ourselves this, gain for ourselves this knowledge that was put here for our betterment and for the sustaining of our joy, so that we can enjoy every single cycle and understand what's happening. Once again, y'all, I am excited. I'm excited. And listen, for those of you who are afraid, for those of you who cannot follow this teaching, and you're not ready to go there, and you're saying, listen, I just want to deal with what I know, and what worked for grandmama can work for me. It's still the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. I agree, because yesterday, this is what our ancient ancestors do. We've been duped. But if you can't hold on, you can't continue on the journey, you are invited to go ahead and find your empowerment elsewhere. This is for those chosen few who have decided that they are ready to live a full, whole life in existence. I'm so grateful once again, y'all. Please keep supporting yourselves first, and then commenting. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you can't do it on YouTube, please hit me up on why did I say hit me up? People say that all the time. Okay, just I got real cool for a moment. Please comment on Facebook and let me know that you are hearing, and you are listening, and you're enjoying. Hey, when I say I truly am excited, I am. To all my brother sons, keep shining. For all my sisters, keep leading the way. Keep on growing. Keep on doing what we're doing, because I truly stand on this. When we as a woman, the black woman, and this is truth, and I stand all the way in it. When the black woman rises to her queenliness of who she is, and truly understands that and walks in the confidence of it, understand that our brother sons will shine just as bright for us. But we got to get it together. We got to get it together, y'all. And I know we can do it together. I know we can. There will be no more being disrespectful to each other. Men talking about, these women ain't this and these women ain't that, and women talking about these men. That makes no sense. It's foolishness. Just like somebody foolish arguing back and forth about what to call the great creator. It's just foolish. Get yourself together. I got to get in that grandmama mode. Get yourself together. You sound like a fool. Let's not do that no more. You see a chicken, turn her into chicken soup. You see a old rusty, dusty dude, if you can't offer him enlightenment and show him something that he can obtain that he would like to provide for, and you're not so strong and independent that you don't need no man. Well, if you don't need no man, you just won't get one, and just leave it be. Ain't no sense in talking about it. Because all of us have fallen short and missed the mark, simply because we've been put in a position and placed in a position where we didn't have the knowledge to thrive. But y'all, we are on the way. So for those of you who are with me, let's do it. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.